Students and I validate community languages and understandings. We create cultural and intellectual bonds that are the platform to unpack our American experiences and identities against those definitions of America that circulate in the countries of our parents and grandparents. This work is based on critical, Socratic, and bilingual encounters where we contest English-only instruction. Thus, we engage in a vision of latinidad and Americanidad that is inclusive of often ignored indigenous, African, and workers' cultural and historical experiences. I propose the seminar's principal questions: who is a Latina or Latino? Who is an American? And the last question, who gets to define these terms? Their answers to these questions are informative on two fronts. First, they shed light on the historical contingency of Latina and Latino and American identities. The answers remind us, for instance, that America is a single continent and anyone from America is an American. Second, they illuminate the narrow intellectual scope of mainstream English-only education. Thus, seminar participants gain opportunity to examine and critique conventional schooling and even the vision of themselves as Latinas and Latinos and as Americans that circulates in schools. The mission to internationalize the California State University curriculum is the agenda around which I gathered commitment and support from various sectors of the university community for our groundbreaking and innovative project. In fact, the Latitudes de Latinidad Summer Academic Seminar is the first venture from our university in an organized educational trip to Cuba. The new relationship between the governments of our respective nations increases the opportunity for inter-university relationships. This is really an exciting time for this work at universities such as ours, where the opportunity to travel with students has been supported by wonderful people on campus. The opportunities to have joined Chicana and Chicano Studies faculty from California State University Northridge, as I did, with the directors of the Program for the Study of Latinos in the U.S., with academic professionals from New York, and undergraduate and graduate students from our university and Cuba, sheds informative light and perspective on the relationship between U.S. society and Cuban society. Where misunderstandings about the politics of Cuba have clouded our understanding about Cuban society, our travels to Cuba and our interactions with folks in various locations gave us opportunity to learn what their daily experiences are. Oftentimes, these were far removed from our misconceptions. My objective is to return to Casa de las Américas and publish about the work that I've conducted there with various individuals. Finally, I plan and pursue an international symposium in the years to come that grows from my work with Cuban intellectuals and cultural workers and is grounded in two questions. The first one, what does the political détente between the U.S. and Cuba mean for higher education? The answer to this exciting question notes the distinctions between Cuban and U.S. higher education, as this concerns the production of knowledge and related instructional activities. We will be ever mindful of the distinct political and economic context of each nation and the opportunities and challenges that these provide. The second question, where does the Latitudes de Latinidad Summer Academic Seminar fit within the history of Chicana and Chicano and Latina and Latino cultural and intellectual collaboration with Cuban cultural and intellectual institutions? My work may be new to Cal State University Dominguez Hills and its students, but not so within the larger perspective of cultural, political, and intellectual exchanges between Cuban and Chicano peoples. Now is time to synthesize and assess their impact on Chicana and Chicano studies, Latina and Latino studies generally, and in future activities within these disciplines, especially now that there exists a greater facility for interaction by comparison to the last 55 years. Yet as mindful as we are of the relationship of the Cuban Revolution and its cultural institutions on Chicana and Chicano and Latina and Latino studies, so too are we thoughtful of the influence in the opposite direction. Thus, what about Chicana and Chicano studies? What about Latina and Latino studies and the cultural, political, and intellectual activities in each of these disciplines prompts the very establishment of the Program for the Study of Latinos in the United States at Casa de las Américas, one of Cuba's premier cultural and intellectual institutions. Added to the funds that students raised for travel was the financial and in-kind support that we received from the Research, Scholarly, and Creative Activity Intramural Grant of the Office of Graduate Studies and Research, the KT and EL Norris Foundation Grant of the College of Natural and Behavioral Sciences, the Title V Promoting Excellence in Graduate Studies Fund, and the Sociology Department, all of which are housed at Cal State University Dominguez Hills. We also received a kind grant from Ms. Norma Corral. Diversification of student participation depends on students' capacity to engage with Cuban academics and cultural workers in the language of Cuba, or to hire English-speaking instructors. Thus, to gain a racially representative pool of students from our university, I'd like to procure resources to hire English-speaking instructors for our next trip. I'm also interested to replicate the successful photo exhibit of 2014 in the coming months, where academics from our campus and local universities and community people attended. Thus, the plan is to gather resources and support to curate a second exhibit to advertise our university's great international work.